Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I am your Fanatic and host, George Bueller. We got a fun one for you today, folks. I am a proud papa. We are bringing on two of the main creators here, Zane Fannin and AJ Howard here, just in a little while here. They are putting out their first book for Prodigy Comics #1. This is going to be a launch book this week, so this is literally the book that is launching the entire imprint. So it's a nice sampling of everything that they'll have to offer in here. So, I can't wait to have these guys on here. I'm very psyched about this. But of course, we can't do this show here without the Rosencrantz to my Guildenstern here, my brother from another mother, the bridge burner himself, Seth Manhammer. Good evening, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you. And the bridge burner is going to make sense here in a little bit. Apologies for missing last week. Just wanted to, it was lost a friend to liver cancer. So if you tell people you care about that you love them, because you don't know how long they're going to be around. Life's too short. But anyway, we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. I'm excited to talk. Like, this is my first time really getting to meet AJ. Like, I think you said we met at a con before, but it's like I've slept since then. So that kind of stuff. But what I'm looking forward to is I'm looking forward to making references, and I think Zane's going to catch on to a lot of these too. I'm looking forward to making references to movies and things, and for AJ to understand them, because you should have taught him these things, and I know that you have. So
AJ has absorbed a lot of media and culture in his time now, and even more so beyond my purview. So because he is a Whovian, and that's not something we share. But you be you, boo boo. I don't get Doctor Who, but there's a lot of other people who do, and they don't need me to.
That's good to know, because then I can test him on the Big Finish audio dramas that I have a shelf of off camera over here on compact disc.
Yes.
Okay, now it's starting to feel weird, like I'm old man flexing on like younger person to feel more relevant, and I'm not trying to do that.
Please stop gatekeeping on our show. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. That's not not what we're about at all.
Enough hubbadoo and all that good stuff here. First, before we bring on our other guests here, I do want to plug one more time, because this is next week. This is, of course, very important, very dear to us. The Multiverse fundraiser is next weekend. And of course, your Fanatic Forum will be there at its usual day and time, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, it's all for a great cause. We are supporting comic books for kids this week. But, of course, Seth and I are very excited, because we are having on John Cosper and the voice of Ohio Valley Wrestling, Dean Hill. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. So a lot of good wrestling talk.
Yeah, I was telling George about how excited I was for this interview. Not that I'm not excited for our interview tonight. I'm not trying to shortchange that at all. But
absolutely.
We grew up with Dean Hill. It's like we've met him a few times, but this is like the first time we really get to like have an hour of his time and John's time.
And I don't want to flex or anything, but I do have Dean Hill's cell phone number now, so I'm just
right. I believe at one time too, you even tried to convince Michelle that she should let you get a motorcycle because Dean Hill offered to let you go riding with him.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Michelle shot that idea down very quickly, if I remember.
Yes, she sure did. Yes, I mean, I don't know anything about riding motorcycles. I've never even ridden as a passenger on one. I have ridden a scooter and a Vespa before, but I've never ridden motorcycles. But Dean's like, "Hey, if you're riding, you ought to go." I was like, "Okay."
The next day, George is at the Harley dealership, just not knowing what he's doing.
I'm trying jackets on. I'm getting my with the chaps, the leather chaps there. So we're getting on here. All right. See,
sorry, this is what we do.
This is what we do, folks. Here we get off on weird tangents. We start talking about leather chaps, and then we're off the rails here. All right, let's bring on our guests of the evening here. First, let's bring on the artist for Prodigy Comics. This is Zane Fannin. Welcome.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, sir? Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you
for having us,
AJ.
And then, of course, we are bringing on the writer of Sagittarius, Mr. AJ Howard. Thank you for being on the show. And this is definitely a big full circle moment for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain here. 8 years ago, flashback here a little bit, folks. I'm still doing my TV gig, stumping for CW, and basically, all the great shows that are all the superhero and Supernatural and Riverdale and all that jazz, right? So I'm at a con doing my promo stuff as I normally do, and I was on a bit of a break, and so I had. Basically, like some of the bigger celebrities at cons, you have to have tickets for like an appointment to go meet them or get a meet and greet like that. So
Right.
I had tickets to meet Alice Cooper. So this is freaking huge for me.
I remember this. I was there, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. You were there.
Yeah. Oh
yes.
man. Yeah. Because you got your copy of $1 Billion Baby signed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Prince of Darkness. Prince of Darkness got signed.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But okay, I'm here now. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah. Because he even commented, because it's a vinyl copy of Prince of Darkness. Like, I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Like, anyway, so I get to have a brief conversation with him, talking about, like, I loved his music, but of course, back in the day, it was the 70s, so I hadn't seen him on anything because I was a little kid at this point. But then he's on the Muppets. Scares the crap out of me. I can't finish the episode. I go hiding under my bed, yada, yada, yada. And basically, we don't make good until when he does the theme for Friday the 13th, Part 6, when he's he's back in the man behind the mask. Yeah, so that was like 12 by then. So we had this great conversation. He's telling me about how he got on the Muppets and how they convinced him. Basically, it's like all they had to tell me was Vincent Price and Christopher Lee have been on the show before. It's like, that's all I needed to know. They knew my wheelhouse. But anywho, he has a brief conversation with my wife. So it's absolutely wonderful interaction. I'm walking away trying to hold back tears because I've literally met one of my heroes, and it's an amazing moment. Then this young man with his dad in tow walk up to me, and this young man is dressed up like Green Arrow and starts talking to me about how he likes, the show I was doing, and he's a big fan of Arrow and all the CW stuff, and he wanted me to sign his bow. He was doing cosplay and wanted me to sign his bow, and I'm like, it was such a surreal moment. So I'm like, here I am, trying not to be a blubbering mess because I just met one of my heroes who was cool. And then here I've got this young guy who likes the show and likes what I'm doing. And I'm like, wow, so it struck me. I absolutely signed the bow. We had a conversation. I brought him over to the booth where we're the CW. So we hooked him up with some free stuff and met our cosplayers and pictures and all that kind of jazz. Gave him the royal treatment. And then he starts commenting on the show afterwards. And then a relationship forms, a mentorship first with helping with his writing, and then friendship, and literally 8 years later, you guys are putting out your first comic.
I remember this.
I've never heard of that Alice Cooper half of the story.
I told you that before.
No,
really,
not once, once.
Okay. This is all fitting together for me now too, because I remember the back half of this story when y'all came to the booth. I'm like, holy shit. Okay. All right, now I'm back into it. All right. So because it was like, because George was beaming for the rest of the friggin' day. Nothing you could have told him that his childhood dog came back out of Pet Cemetery and ate like 9 children, and he still wouldn't have phased him. That was like one of the best days, like the most happiest times I've ever seen of George's life. Yeah, but that's wild that it's like now we're all getting different pieces of the story.
So to give you, of course, like I said, AJ and I have been friends since, and we hang out and we talk about his writing and help him out on stuff. We even helped you develop Sagittarius a little bit.
George met Sagittarius when it was it must have been like a 10-page light emphasis on screenplay. And then it's developed over such a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how it goes sometimes for characters. Sometimes they come right away, and sometimes, yeah, they gotta percolate a little bit, you know.
I gotta say, like, I dabble in writing. I'm not you know, it's like that. But to hear like you say like something that was like something akin to a screenplay and how you developed it, like I love that, because it's like the whole first draft. Everybody's first draft is always crap, right?
Mhm.
You know, yeah. And you know, it's like just yeah, and just for the idea that you could see that it's like, yeah, this was something awful and I made it something good. You know, it's like I saw what I could have done with this idea and brought it to the finish line.
And
You
it
know,
wasn't
that,
just
yeah.
me either. You know, AJ has had other people where he gets emphasis from. He's also talked to professionals, Steve Orlando. You know, so I mean, just saying, you know, it's like I'm on the totem pole, but I'm certainly not the friggin' top. You know, so yeah, so it's been a village to create Sagittarius, and of course, Zane, you've created many characters on your own too, so I'm sure you've experienced the same thing.
Oh yeah. So, and some of them come from, you know, like little drawings I did when I was a kid that would like get resurrected, and then other ones just like stroll into your head the day before you draw them, and yeah,
Right. Kind of like the Eric Larson methodology, like yeah.
Well,
So like,
sorry,
yeah. Sorry, no, I was just going like right into the interview stuff. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I will be good. I will be good.
Got it. Right. But anyway, but before we get into the full-on interview, of course, we have reviews here. I've got some new comments, and Seth, you've actually got a book review here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a book without any pictures in it too.
Yeah, there are no pictures. Yeah,
yeah, it's a book, folks.
There's maps, but yeah.
Well, maps are acceptable here. Yeah. All right, so I'll go full screen here, but yeah, AJ and Zane, comment as you like on these here. But yeah, basically, I usually try to pick out a few selections of stuff that week to week that I like here and recommend it to people here. But this actually came out last week here. But this is The Lucky Devils #1, Charles Soule and Ryan Brown, who did 8 Billion Genies, I guess it was last year, I guess. But this is their new book here. I loved this first issue. This is definitely kind of akin to 8 Billion Genies in the way the story kind of runs, but it's a lot more of a punk rock sort of theme to it. I'll explain. Basically, this goes on the concept of, you know, of course, you have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other shoulder. That basically one's good influence, one's a bad influence, stuff like that, right?
Right.
Well, demons in this world, if the devil's on your shoulder, they can actually do positive things if they want to. They actually have the power to do so. It's just their lot in life to do the bad things to you. Well, you got a pair. Basically, they're actually a couple here, a husband and wife. They have their own humans they're assigned to. What, you know, the guy's got one, the lady's got another one, right? They're both really good people. And despite the fact that a lot of bad things happen to them on a regular basis, they still remain good people. Well, even the best these guys can do, still, you know, they're getting by. They're doing okay. They're not great, but they're still doing good. So the pair here decides that they're going to subvert the system. Like, you know what? We're tired of doing the same old thing here. We need to change things. So we're going to help you guys out. We're going to try to make your lives better. We have the power to do so. We're going to do it. But to do that, they're basically subverting everything about hell. And at the same time, though, if it works, probably Satan's going to like it. But also, apparently, a lot of our conceptions and thoughts and Christian influence of what hell is not that way. Basically, yeah, they're all demons and sort of thing like that, but they're also just like regular people that have jobs and work, and they just happen to live in this dimension called hell. That's the underworld, things like that. But yeah, they're subverting the whole, you know, the system that has been in place for a long time, and like either if it works, they'll be kings, and if it fails, well,
where are you gonna go?
Yeah, there's apparently places they can go. I mean, because granted, you know, they do kind of go with the the Divine Comedy sort of 9 levels of hell.
Gotcha.
So that is one thing they have in there. There are 9 levels of hell.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and Batman Ultra. I wonder who that is. Funny thing is, one of his buddies has been recommending 8 Billion Genies a bunch. Yes, read 8 Billion Genies. It's a lot of fun. The concept for 8 Billion Genies was that everybody in the world gets their own personal genie, and everybody gets one wish. So after this simultaneous event happens, 8 seconds later, things start changing around the world because people start cashing in their wishes immediately. And so that's kind of how the book goes. It's 8 seconds later, and then the next issue is 8 minutes later, and then it's 8 hours, 8 days, yada yada yada, and you then finally get like 8 years. Within the first 8 seconds, somebody wishes for the Earth to be cube shaped.
Oh god!
So
like Bizarro World,
Literally.
100%, 100. Yeah. So
See, I was just thinking like maybe like it would just be full of like what was that X-Files episode where they found a genie and they kept like there were the 2 idiots found the genie and they kept making wishes like they wished for like a yacht but it like landed in their trailer park. That's what I was imagining. But yeah, cube shaped is like okay, yeah, wow.
And of course, like the wishes get really, really stupid and destructive. And of course, also each time a denomination of time goes by, it also shows the population of the world change.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because of course, there's going to be idiots doing stupid things, and they make their wishes come true. Not necessarily maybe caring if those wishes kill other people. Or, say, I wish I was Ultraman and walking around defeating kaiju. Well, you're going to step on some people accidentally because you're a big idiot, don't know how to control the giant size you are now. Right. 8 Billion Genies is great. It's in trade paperback. Read it.
Okay.
All right. Our next one here, another Image comic here. Of course, Seth has been with me on this one here. The Energon universe has been a banger. Basically, the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover that's been happening has just been outstanding. There have been multiple crossovers for these properties, but this one has just really taken the cake. Issue 3 is a lot of fun. Issue 2 kind of left us on a cliffhanger because basically someone from the Joe team is basically working undercover within the Cobra. They've basically infiltrated the organization. And the interesting thing about how this, because G.I. Joe is still basically brand new at this point. Cobra has been kind of a myth that is starting to prove more accurate as the days go on. Right. Cobra is also about 10 steps ahead of G.I. Joe in every single aspect they've been involved with. Whether it is the amount of people they have, resources, weapons, technology. Yeah, the Joes are getting their butts handed to them in every aspect so far. But there's a lot of full circle stuff, especially with the last issue of Transformers and this one here. We don't lose any more cast members because we lost a core member literally in the first issue of G.I. Joe. That's kind of a thing, too, that's been kind of a common thing throughout the Energon universe. It's like the first issues are pretty, like, they slam the door on you. Like, first issue of Transformers, Bumblebee got killed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were showing they weren't playing around, and they're hardcore. And like, yeah, these are some of my favorite comics, right? These are probably the only Rote-like comics that I stick with regularly anymore. Yeah, they're fantastic. Well, that Conan, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that Conan's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so this is number 3 again leaves us on a nice cliffhanger. And there's I don't want to spoil too much here by saying too much. But the Joes do actually get a little bit of a leg up here, a little bit of a helping hand. But of course, as we see here, we've got Duke in charge and the other gentleman here. This is a new character called Risk. So Risk works for the CIA, but he also has a background in MMA. So he's kind of a badass. And he and Duke do not get along at all.
Is there supposed to be Baroness in the background?
No, that's Zartan,
Yes.
disguised as the Baroness.
Okay, Seth.
Okay.
Here's the thing. In this GI Joe universe, the Baroness de Cobre is still a war criminal and has been doing all kinds of mean and nasty things around the world. But she is A, not Destro's boo, and B, not associated with Cobra.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, Duke recruits her to GI Joe.
Awesome.
But Duke doesn't know that she's really Zartan in disguise.
I don't know if you wanted that big of a spoiler.
This is a theory that.
It's a
Seth
theory.
has.
Okay.
This is a theory. See, we know in the Cobra Commander miniseries that's part of the Energon universe, we met most of the Dreadnoks with the exception of Zartan, but we know Zartan exists because they teased him like he's the big boss, but we haven't met him just yet. Interestingly enough, we have not met Snake Eyes in the G.I. Joe Energon universe yet.
Right.
There has been Scarlet's there. There's Jinx, the Arashikage, Storm Shadow's there. We have seen no indication of Snake Eyes yet.
Because Snake Eyes is looking all over the place for Zartan, but he doesn't know that Zartan is disguised as the Baroness.
You know, I'm just
I'm gonna be right, and you're gonna hate me.
Well, I
Is
will
the sad
you,
thing.
you will get your flowers, sir, when you are correct. But I'm just saying you're not. So. Hey, Aubrey, good to see you, dear. Aubrey, of course, part of our network in the Cereal Box
Hello.
Network. So good to see you, dear. Oh, all right. So a couple of Marvel selections for the week here, and then we'll be done. Or actually, I'll be done, and Seth, I will toss to you for your reviews here. But from Marvel here, this series has been a lot of fun. Alien Paradiso, issue number 2. So Marvel's handling of the Alien franchise has been stellar, in my opinion. Just as good as the Dark Horse stuff.
I gotta give props to Aliens versus Avengers too, because that series has been great so far.
It really has been. And of course, this sometime this year, I think it's the summer, we get to look forward to Predator versus Spider-Man. So,
Yes.
yeah, we've already had Predator versus Wolverine, Predator versus Black Panther. Now we got Predator versus Spidey. So it's Concrete Jungle Volume 2 here, I think. But either way, Paradiso here. So Paradiso is basically an island resort made up of 5 islands on this, like paradise, gambling, pleasure planet, right? No weapons allowed, that sort of thing like that. So a gang of criminals wants to meet with the big criminal cartel to kind of worm their way in, make a deal, yada, yada, yada. What we don't know about said cartel is right before in the meeting, when they get to Paradiso, they have a little meeting with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. And the Weyland-Yutani Corporation apparently used them as guinea pigs because they arrived at Paradiso prego with xenomorphs. So now you've got about you got about a half dozen of these things running around this island resort, having the time of their lives, slaughtering all kinds of people, and there's no weapons.
Big yikes.
The interesting thing about this series, though, is for the first time ever, in some instances, we get to see how the Xenomorphs see us. We've seen how the Predators see us and how they do. We've never seen the point of view of the Xenomorphs before. In this series, we do. So, yeah, a lot of fun. It is... Sometimes the Alien series can get a little thick with their mythology or with a bigger story. This is a fun story because it's literally a creature monster feature where people are running for their lives and getting eaten left and right. It's awesome.
That's what I love about the Alien. Like that's what I think Alien is at its best. Like it's just
nice and simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead
like,
of trying to complicate things like they did with like Prometheus and everything.
Yeah, I don't even know where they came from.
Definition of complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, Ridley Scott must have been on some strong acid when it comes to the Prometheus stuff. I'm like, what is this?
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'm a Prometheus apologist. I actually really enjoyed all of that. But
I'm actually there with you.
Why so many people were like, what?
it has a lot of great qualities. It's just like
Michael Fassbender's performance in that movie is outstanding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he's a really good actor.
Yeah, but he kind of helped save the movie for me. And there's some great visuals in there too. But there's a lot of WTF story moments.
Yeah,
because it's still not even 100% clear if the architects created the xenomorphs or if they just found them. And the xenomorphs themselves, which can adapt to literally any situation they're in, have mutated. So it's not even 100% clear. Like, this is supposed to be explaining the origin of the xenomorphs, and it doesn't.
Yeah, not a bit. Yeah.
it matter of fact presents more questions. So that was my biggest problem with it. But actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, AJ. Oh, I thought you were going to say something, AJ. I'm sorry. Or Seth.
Yeah, or I was just going to say, like, no, like that. Yeah. Even they took that and put that into that Alien Fireteam Elite game, that squad shooter. That was super friggin' awesome. I don't know if y'all ever played that, but it's like,
I wasn't aware of its existence.
Oh yeah. It's like I think it's only like $30 now, but it's like a squad shooter where it's like you're part of like a team of 4, and like you can have like the smart guns and like the pulse rifle or like different categories. Yeah, and you're progressing through levels, and it's like there's like kill boxes where it's like you're taking out swarms of aliens and everything. But like there's a story that's going along with it, but then like they start to get into a lot of the Prometheus and like Covenant lore and everything, and it's like no, just get me back to shooting the damn alien.
I think that was a reason why people liked Romulus so much, was because it went back to the basics.
Yeah.
This is just a horror movie.
Romulus is outstanding. Yeah.
I will say Romulus technically doesn't get off because it does bring in some stuff, which I enjoyed.
But it's not a lot. It's not.
I like the way that it incorporated it.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, almost forgot here. Fun fact about Paradiso 2. One of the characters you find out has a direct connection to one of the crew members of the original Nostromo. And of course, this character has grown up a little bit, so we're probably talking about a 20-year gap in timeline, at least. Maybe a little less, but somewhere around at least a 15 to 20-year gap in time between the events of the original Alien and what happens in Paradiso there.
Interesting.
So in my mind, it just went Red Dwarf style, where I'm thinking it's Jonesy the cat evolving. Jonesy the cat, like in Red Dwarf, with like fighting aliens and that. Yeah.
Hey, all the way from the West Coast, Miss K. Good to see you, dear.
Okay.
Oh, and Aubrey said that she's got to check out Predator versus Spider-Man. Yeah,
that's pretty rad.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know when that comes out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's coming out in the summer, but it's this year. So anyway,
I love it when titles of books can just sell them like that. Like it's like, okay, this is something I want to see.
That happened with Power Rangers and Justice League for me. I was like my two favorite things as a kid.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to sell a book, just put property versus property.
Yeah. I mean, look how well it's been doing with Godzilla.
Yeah.
They've been throwing Godzilla in everything.
I did go to Half Price Books today, and there was a book that kind of caught my eye with the title was The Girl That Could Move Shit with Her Mind. And that was the title of it. And I'm like, I picked it up, I looked at it.
It's eye-grabbing.
Simple. Yeah, it's simple, it's catchy,
Dude, I was at a Half Price Books one day, and I got one of them. I wish I would have pulled the trigger on all of them, but somebody had sold like a whole collection of hardbound pre-code era horror, crime, sci-fi. It was like multiple volumes of it. And so I got one that was like the first volume of like some of the pre-code horror stuff. But it's like, I wish I had the money to buy all of them. and then literally I go to the shop the next day and I tell Tommy, the owner, about this. Like, oh man, I wish we would have got those. Like, if I would have had the money, I would have. Oh, we should have bought those. Like, do I have your credit card?
I don't know, man. It's an investment, You got to think about it like an investment.
Every time I walk into a Half Price Books, my wallet starts to ache every single time.
Oh, dude, I know. It's like I didn't like. I was just gonna I had to kill half an hour today because I was doing our courier at work, and then I walk in there and I come out. So I spent $30. It was like I didn't intend to do it at all.
Walking into any bookstore is a dangerous decision.
Yes.
It is life or death. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen to that. All right, my last comic here, and this, of course, is a big one this week here. This has been like selling out at shops around the country here. This new Ultimate Universe presents Ultimate Wolverine #1. Now, of course, this is definitely a different Ultimate Universe than the original one that birthed like Miles Morales and the variant characters there. This Ultimate Universe was essentially created in the image of the maker, who is the evil Reed Richards. He went back in time and destroyed every aspect of the events that would make a superhero. So when we get in the modern day, there are no heroes. Those characters still exist. The people still exist, but they're not heroes.
Right.
In this particular instance here, there are a lot of tragic Wolverine stories in Wolverine's history. His own personal history is extremely tragic. This one takes the cake because the maker has forged Wolverine into his version of the Winter Soldier. He goes out and is basically the maker's personal hitman. The problem is, it wasn't like he grabbed him early in his life and turned him into this. He grabbed Logan late in life. So while the X-Men were not formed, the mutants themselves still gathered as a community. So he's essentially now going out and killing all his former friends.
Oh.
Whether or not he is aware that he is killing his friends or what is going on, but his friends definitely know who he is. And like there was an instance where he and Mystique are fighting, and she tries to pull her shape-shifting stuff on there, and he does the old sniffer out test. He realized, oh, you're not who you're supposed to be. You're this person, and you're dead. But yeah, it's an extremely tragic start to this story. But I mean, it's good. It is good. Yeah, like I said, more tragic than usual for Wolverine there, but yeah, it's interesting nonetheless.
Wow.
Oh, and Bradley Smith is in here. Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Bradley.
And
We're Claude.
I know. All right, Mr. Seth. Post time for you, sir.
Yes, my book report. So yeah, I've been getting into more just what you'd call hardcore fantasy after finding out that I didn't really dislike dislike fantasy. I just dislike Tolkien. So yeah, it's just not my bag. I've tried The Hobbit. I tried Lord of the Rings.
I know.
So many times couldn't get
great concept guy, not the best at his prose.
yeah, it was very it was
unless you want to hear about the side of a mountain for 20 pages.
Okay,
sometimes that could be like Robert Jordan does that, and it's fantastic.
You make a fair point.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that for a second because it's like I'm kind of scared to do the Wheel of Time, which is why I decided that I got into Brandon Sanderson for a minute and needed a break from him. So it's like I started breaking off into other fantasy authors, skipping the Wheel of Time because I was intimidated by it. Instead, going for one of the other fantasy series that people find intimidating as hell, Malazan. And so I've read the first book, Malazan: Gardens of the Moon, which is number one. Like we're talking about eye-catchy titles and things. Like this ain't it. Not really. Like
good
it makes
cover,
sense. Yeah, in context of the story, yeah. But actually, the cover, it's not really have anything to do with the story here. Yeah. So it's like But,
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks AI.
Yeah, I mean, it might actually be because I think this is the Tor paperback, and I think they might be doing.
Yeah, it's Tor. Yeah,
Tor.
Okay, but
I do that all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. Now the second book has a better cover, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. But as far as like the story itself goes, some friggin' fantastic stuff here. It was actually it was pitched to me as the fantasy equivalent of The Wire, and if you're familiar with that, the HBO show with the cops and the crooks, and how their stories intertwine, and how it's like it's like maybe like traditionally the cops are supposed to be the good guys, but they may not always be that way, and vice versa. Well, this is the fantasy equivalent of that. And it doesn't hold your hand, so like you just gotta get in there and roll with it. There's a cast of characters in the first part of the book that tells you, kind of helps you keep track of who's who, because there are a ton of people in this book. Hold it, where's the yeah
It has a
Pages-
dramatist persona.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, a dramatist persona. Yeah, and yeah,
Oh my
and I
God.
mean, yeah. Oh, dude, this is
That-
freaking
That's
dense
awesome.
as
I love
yeah,
stuff
dense
like
as
that.
hell. But it's
Ooh.
oh man, but it's so worth it just to get into it, because it's like there's like there's this the bridge burner thing, for example.
Mm.
The squad, like the book starts like during the middle of this big giant mage rebellion that's destroying this town, and we meet
Okay.
a character that like one of the biggest imperial cities, and it's like the big turning point for their culture. And like we meet like one of the main characters as a child in this point, and he comes back. But anyway, the elite squad of like the city's defense were these dudes named the Bridge Burners, and once they lost lost against the rebellion, they got incorporated into the empire. But they still weren't liked particularly well, so they kept getting sent on like horrible suicide missions just to like destroy entire battalions and like legions and battalions at a time. So there were only like 1,400 of them left, and then in the start of the first book, like there's 8 of them. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and so it's like, and then it's like they've been given another suicide mission to basically to like go to this other city and take it under siege. But the whole point is like the Empress is trying to kill them. But then like there's the magic, like one of them is like the super powered mage. They end up incorporating an insane marionette puppet. There are giant like 15-foot sentient crows that fly
Oh,
around.
cool.
There's this dude, like one of the best, I think one of the best characters I've ever read in fantasy is this dude in here, Animander Rake. And you talk about the biggest drow elf you've ever seen. Imagine like they've serpentored Conan's DNA with Elric's, and like
Whoa.
and like he's carrying
That's
he's carrying
insane.
Stormblood still. Yeah, and like he's in the floating city. Yeah, this is just like it's a wild ride to get from like point A, like old gods, new gods, like playing with more like it's some crazy shit. Like I'm super excited to really get into this, and there's 10 books in this series,
Oh,
and
cool.
it goes all over the place. But it's like the prose in it's really good. The story, the story's really good. Like it sets up so many plot threads that doesn't even get really resolved, in this book or in the first book, of course. But yeah,
No Gardens on the Moon.
no gardens on the moon.
It's Gardens of the Moon, not on.
Yeah,
So.
Gardens on the Moon. Yeah, but
That's
it's a great series, a great hell of a start to a series, and I'm super.
And Kay makes a good point. I immediately thought this when we started talking about it.
Oh,
Going
wow.
on a tangent. But yeah, hardcore fantasy in my mind doesn't scream Tolkien. And you should think of Leather and
Yeah.
Web. So. Yeah.
Okay, maybe my terminology was
Kay.
flawed. Because it's like hardcore sci-fi is a term. Nobody thinks that it's anything but what it says it is. So-
No,
You're just
all
not there
form.
yet. You're just not there
It's
yet.
it's all format. Right. Well, enough of that other jazz and everything like that. We're going to get to why we are really here today here. Our topic du jour, the release of Prodigy Comics #1, and our welcome to the Artist Alley to Zane Fannin and AJ Howard. All right, guys, now it's time to talk turkey here. So first off here, let's get down to basics. How did you guys actually meet first off?
We met in a DC group on Twitter, and like it was basically just a constant thread of chaos. This group was, and we somehow managed to like single each other out, and we're like messaging each other back and forth until we were like, you know what? F this noise. This is too like everything's getting lost in the sauce. Like
This
so, we
was
just
in a January.
decided to DM each other.
This was in a January too. This
Yes,
was like,
yeah. So it's been like
how many Januaries ago? Is this like three?
3. It was 21
at least. Yeah,
because it was post Panini. So yeah.
Post Panini.
And it was over a Wonder Woman a fan like outline.
Yes,
of
because
a potential sequel to the second Wonder Woman movie. I remember.
Yep, I had written a full. I think it ended up being like a 20-page outline of it would include Cersei as the main villain, bringing in the Firstborn. I really wanted to expand the Wonder family, so I brought in Yara and Artemis and Nubia. All of the people. And yeah, so we talked about that. I sent that to him, and like, yeah, it just that's how it started, and
Madness from there.
madness from there.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, and of course, you guys have been kind of, creating stuff together here, working on different concepts and things like that. And then, of course, flash forward, like we said, 3 years later, we are at the cusp for the release of Prodigy Comics #1. The image on the left there is our main A cover, or not our, but their main A cover there. That is awesome, by the way. I love the big fighting of the kaiju dragon thing there.
It's the #1 rule of comics. If you want a great cover, just put a big kaiju.
Put a kaiju on there.
Actually, like thinking like the great Kirby covers, basically we're all like that.
Yeah. I mean, very, very actiony, very dramatic. What's going on here? That is not a boring cover. That grabs the eye. It sure does. So let me share the page here. And I will also, in the comment section, folks, we'll bring that up here, are the link, or posted for both Facebook and YouTube here. But that is the link there for the zoop.gg.c Prodigy Comics -1, or anything. You can see it on your screen here. So this is to get to the Zoop page here where the campaign is going on. As you can see, the guys are very close here. Goal is 3,000. We're at over 2,400. There is still time to donate. And what you get there, if you donate $10, you just get a digital copy of the book, which I have already read. Well, actually, I read a copy several months back, so it may have changed a little bit, but I've
things have shifted a little bit, but not too much.
what AJ showed me 6 months ago was fantastic. So yeah, but there you go. Or you can do 18 and you get the main A cover there, a physical copy of it, which is important to get the actual physical copy. Or if you do 18, you get the Sagittarius variant.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a Pride variant cover here, which, of course, let me get back down to some comments here, because Kay is very excited about the Pride variant cover there. She gives you props for having that on there.
We have so many queer characters in this universe. I was like, you know what? I want to throw them all on a cover and put the Pride flag behind it. So,
and I mean, like show the cover. It is so good.
Yeah,
it is.
Hang on. Let me get it here. So, get to the main image there.
It's so gorgeous. It's
so
awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
We even got the diminishing man right there.
Yep, right there in the forefront.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what's hooking me with it too is it's the Virgin cover without the logo too. I'm a sucker for those. For good Yeah, George can attest. Those are some of my favorites.
Absolutely. And of course, here's the Sagittarius. And I like this. It's like a DC style of variant there, because you got on the upper left side there. Sometimes it's on the upper right. But yeah, where they the info and the creative team and stuff like that. But yeah, this is AJ's character here that he created, Sagittarius.
And this was a commission from my friend Chris, who does a lot of great comic stuff. That is, he's just trying to get out there, and
he's like just starting out, and he's already fantastic. Like he's
literally part of a punk rock band. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Nice.
Can't be cooler. Can't be cooler.
Yeah, literally cannot be cooler.
That's cool, man. And the $50 donation gets you all 3 physical covers. So that is really nice there. Or you could do the $65 bundle, just like I did, where you get everything. You get all the covers, you get the poster, you get the stickers, you get the PDF, you get a laurel and a handshake. I don't know. Also, for retailers, for $45, you can get 5 copies to have for your specific store there. So you can have physical copies to sell.
This is my favorite option here. Because, I would talk about this all the live long day. How I got into comics was, going to comic book shops, going to bookstores with comics, the brick and mortar shops.
Mm-hmm.
That is where it's at. And I want to get our comic into as many shops as possible.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because that's the best version of the comics experience.
Yes, going to your LCS, absolutely.
Yeah,
could not agree more.
Yeah, that's we get a lot. Basically, I work for, if you guys haven't, heard me talk about before. I work for a comic book shop called Clyburn Comics here in Elizabethtown, and we get new readers in all the time. And so I always get the question of like where to start, what should I start with, things like that. And I always literally tell them like, who do you like, what do you like, whatever. So if you're familiar with some superhero characters or you're familiar with certain properties or whatever else, like go with what you like, and then just look. What cover calls to you? What it's like, oh, that looks pretty cool. What's that? And that's how you pick. Yeah. So starting out, don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses or what's cool on YouTube or what's in what's in the Reddit forums or whatever else, man. It's like just go with what you like, what calls to you, and the rest will come after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then of course you can also tip the fellas here. So you can do that there. And then of course, we got some other extensive stuff here. We got Zane's commission package here.
For a discount.
Yep. There you go. A great discount there. Get some quality art for a great discount there.
Yes.
You can get the poster print here for $12, or there's also the sticker pack for $10 as well. So yeah, plenty of ways to claim here, but it looks like that the main cover and the everything bundle are your most popular ones. Oh, and also the Sagittarius variant is also very popular too.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so the address is up there. I will take the page down here so we can talk here.
76 pages too, and it's like, and that's like.
And it's finished.
Yeah, and it's finished. So it's not going to take 8 years for it.
Yeah, the wonderful thing about Kickstarters and campaigns is, when you have a finished product, when you're campaigning, so people can get it when it's done.
Yeah.
They're like, we have 5 pages done of a whole 22-page book, and it's like, okay, but how long is that going to take?
Yeah, it's just like, I feel like it's easier for people to trust us when we actually have the thing done.
Yeah.
And the fact that we already have a big headways on like future issues too.
Oh, we have so much stuff outlined that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Honestly, probably more stuff than we will ever actually be able to get to, at least on our own. But yeah, we've talked extensively about the futures of all of these characters, where they're going, all of that. So,
like this is just no joke to us,
Yeah, exactly.
This is our passion,
And let's actually talk about some of these characters, because I've got a couple images that AJ shared with me here via email that are actually some of your all's original characters. So let's talk about this one in particular here.
You go ahead, AJ. She's your baby.
Okay. I love Magnifica. I've had Magnifica as a character about as long as I've had Sagittarius.
Yep.
And I don't think I ever fully had the perfect image of Magnifica until I met Zane. I believe this was the first time you drew her.
Yeah.
And I asked specifically for a kind of Darwin Cook inspired.
Yeah, Darwin
style.
Cook, Michael Cho, something like that. So that's the route that I went.
And basically, in a few words, Magnifica is like everything I love about science fiction comics in one character. Like John Broome Flash, which I've loved for a long time. I love Francis Manapul Flash as well, and also like all of Jack Kirby's science fiction stories, with these big battles, but there's also that element of like sci-fi wonder, and also the like space age, the space age idea of what we can really do, like going out into the stars and everything.
And is this one of your images too, as well, Zane? Your Kirby homage here?
Yep. And I specifically bought a brush set for that.
And it's so good, right?
Good,
right?
Ink set, I think is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, that is an achievement, sir. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm seeing there's that Kirby space aesthetic that he had, and then what's getting me too is Kirby had a way of drawing machines, right?
Yeah,
mechanical things, and the way you got the ship, You know, that's like, yeah, that it's so much of Kirby, like all, yeah. Oh my God, I love
Or
it.
just the energy pouring out of her eyes, and even the fact
Yeah.
that you did this digitally, but you could still see the freaking dots.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that was important to me, and like Zane just like brought it out even more than I had in my head.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, I've literally since you and AJ have been friends, Zane. He has shared a lot of your art with me. And I think this is one of your Avengers.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was the
pieces.
first piece I did this year. Yep,
Oh,
I
nice.
just put together
mean-
an Avengers roster that I thought would be interesting, and I wanted to draw it. So,
And it's kind of interesting because, currently Blade technically is on the Avengers roster right now. But yeah, having Scarlet Witch, Tigra, Wolverine, Widow, was that North Star?
Yeah.
Yep.
North Star.
Wasp and Shang-Chi.
yep.
And Scarlet Witch. Yeah, that is a cool run down there. And I love this Wonder Woman. Just
Yeah,
that
okay.
Oh, dude, yeah.
This is from
It's so good.
a random. So we got a bunch of people together. This is when I was still on Twitter. That we just decided to randomly come together and do like a DC fan universe, and we called it Earth 1108 because it was 11:08 p.m. when it was created.
Nice.
And so because Wonder Woman, I mean, she's my favorite character. Like, I love her. I've always loved her. If I ever have a daughter, I plan on naming her Diana. Like, she is my everything.
Yep.
So I was like, I call her. She's mine. But so this was,
that'd be hard to argue too. It's like, it's like her name's gonna be Diana. And then, it's like, why? Because Wonder Woman's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, can't argue that.
Argue with that. Yeah.
You can't say anything against that.
Yeah.
It's just such a great perspective shot there.
Thank you. So yeah, that's our version of Giganta. We went with like a mixture of her different origin stories. Like, at first how she was an ape, and so that's where you got the hair and like all that stuff. So yeah.
So good.
Nice. And of course, we got an image of Sagittarius here, and
Yes.
I love this
a la
one
Tim
here.
Sale, R.I.P.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's almost like a kind of perfect combo of both Tim Sale with a little bit of the best of Frank Miller in there too.
It was like I was just kind of getting like almost some like who's the guy that did some of the Invisibles?
Shoot.
Just the shading, like on the homie's face in the back, like yeah. And
hang on, not that I'm a movie. I'm talking about freaking comics. Stupid.
You would think that the algorithm would understand by now.
Okay, yeah, I know it's Grant Morrison, Brian Boland.
Yeah, Boland. Yeah.
That's a great person to be compared to.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I knew. I even know I know he's a British guy, but I was like, wow,
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
And this character, I'm really interested in here because I love the story in the anthology for him here.
Yes.
So, all right,
really
this
great.
is Lion Man, who is actually back in 1947. He was the first ever black superhero that was created. So our friend Juan and I got together and we were like, let's reinvent him for a modern audience. It's like that's the whole thing about Prodigy, is that we wanted to take the classic anthology style from the golden age and we wanted to but tell it for stories, or tell stories in it that people would really enjoy today. So the amulet, that's directly from the original story. The dagger as well. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but they are very significant to the character. And as you can see, the costume, it's made of what we call photo fiber, so it's able to turn invisible. The little whiskers on his face actually change color depending on the level of danger that's around him. So if it's blue, it's all good. If it's red, it's fight time. So, but yeah.
And there's plenty of fight time.
There's plenty.
There is
plenty of fight time.
Okay, I love the term photo fiber. Like, yeah, oh man, that is like, oh yeah, because like names are important when you're coming up with this stuff, and it's got to sound good, and that's just like
exactly, yeah.
Oh damn, yeah, I love it,
and that's so great too that you basically kind of rebirth a character that's kind of been in the what they call it, the
public domain.
Public domain.
Yeah, exactly. Because he fell into the public domain, and he was only ever in one issue. And there was supposed to be a thing, but because there was supposed to be a second, but obviously because huge backlash against it because it was an all black owned and black created book, they never got that chance. So if there was anything like that we could do to and especially because you can find it online for free. If you find just Google it on the internet, it's got a very outdated name, so I won't say it on here. But just look it up, and hopefully you'll be able to see all of the influences once if you're reading our version, you'll be able to see all of the influences.
Yeah, so you can only see the influences if you buy the book.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. See, there's that sales pitch there. Yeah. Let's go back to Sagittarius here, AJ, because we want to talk about his, kind of what makes him special, who he is, what he is, sort of thing like this. Obviously, very inspired by Green Arrow and Hawkeye there. But tell us about Sagittarius.
The pitch I always say with Sagittarius is you call Spider-Man a relatable hero. Spider-Man, he has an apartment, he can go to Aunt May's house, even if he gets kicked out. But Sagittarius is homeless. He lives in a junkyard, he lives in an abandoned bus. And really the only support system he has is the people around him. Yep. He is all by himself, and he really doesn't have a secret identity, at least from where we meet him. All he is Sagittarius. So where do we go from there? And also the idea of I really love Green Arrow by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams.
Yes.
I love taking kind of real world politics and real world situations and problems and injecting it into this more comic booky world and situations. And seeing what we can explore with that, with this villain who is the game master. I really love Dick Sprang, big death traps, oversized death traps, and that is kind of where Game Master just was birthed, because I always really loved those absolutely ridiculous death traps, but also adding in the part of the games.
Basically
he has a lot of death traps and robot bad guys that are take a lot of inspiration from video games, and each issue is playing on a different motif from a different game, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Nice. And of course, and that's the thing too about this Prodigy Comics, it's not just superhero stuff. You guys have other things to offer aside from just the superhero angles. Wait, can you tell us a little bit more about what some
including goblins?
Yes, and trolls and cats.
Yes,
sentient talking cats. Because who doesn't love a talking cat?
Yes.
So are you saying the stories would even transcend you got superheroes covered? It sounds like.
Actually the plan is that if this is successful, we've got a couple of other genre books that we would like to dabble into, waiting in the wings. So one of them is a sci-fi book, and the classic 50s and 60s, the good old Silver Age stuff,
and an ode to the space age.
Yep. And then we've talked. It's very embryonic right now, but we've talked about doing a horror one as well, classic Tales from the Crypt type stuff.
Yes.
So, but all taking place within the same universe.
Nice. And that's the thing.
So cool.
Anthology books are so big right now. I mean, Boom's got Hello Darkness. You've got a couple other ones out. And of course, the return of EC Comics via Oni Press, which. It's they've got 3 titles out right now. There's Epitaphs from the Abyss, which has been a banger every issue. Cruel Universe, which is the sci-fi one. It's been kind of hit and miss. And then the first issue of Cruel Kingdom, which is the horror-based fantasy, came out, and that one was awesome. So yeah, I am just absolutely loving the return of EC Comics, and kind of like a new chapter to it. So yeah, it's beautiful. So yeah, the more horror anthologies and sci-fi anthologies and stuff like that, yeah, the better. Absolutely.
Yeah, like the big thing we're all about with doing Prodigy is like variety. I don't like the idea of comics just being superheroes. Like I love superheroes. We all love superheroes.
Oh yeah, we all love superheroes.
But comics aren't all superheroes.
Exactly.
You know, that's just a genre.
Yeah,
sure.
There's a lot of different genres. So how about we
let's
bring all that in.
Exactly.
I love that. Oh, I love that, because yeah, that's my thing. It's like I don't stick with, I haven't, like, superhero comics to me, they're always going to be there, like, right? You're always going to have that great Batman story, that great Spider-Man story, whatever. But like, yeah, it's like, no, I'm to the point now where it's like, no, give me that other stuff too. Like, you know, show me the interesting takes on the superheroes, like stuff that you don't like. You know, shake up the status. Like AJ, when you were describing like Sagittarius, like the whole idea of like, you know, him being homeless, that's just like, oh, holy crap, that's awesome. You know, and like, yeah, just you know, just these like, not even necessarily shakeups, but just new avenues, new twists, or new takes on interesting concepts. You know, like
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is, because I mean, it's like, you know, all of his gear is basically like found things or stuff you can piece together. So it's like he doesn't have the millionaire kind of like arsenal.
Exactly.
It's like that makes it so much more interesting. Yeah, I love that stuff. So aside from Sagittarius, AJ, what other stuff do you have in the works aside from like other stories or other genres or other characters you've got kind of like basically in the works that you can tell us about?
What I can tell you about, you know, that's a hard question. You know, we gotta be diplomatic here. We have a lot of different things in the works. We actually just got someone on, who's doing I'll say a very simple version of it. Think of like a bar in a superhero universe.
Okay.
All right.
And a lot of stuff happens, a lot of fights.
Exactly. Like, imagine being a bartender at the place where like both, you know, Iron Man and Doctor Doom would be having a drink after work.
and see, that's
having a drink and then throwing a drink.
Yes.
That's kind of a cool take. Because like in the Marvel universe, you've got the infamous bar with no name, which basically constantly changes locations, has literally no name because it's where all the criminals go to hang out. And sometimes, you know, Daredevil, Spider-Man, your various street level heroes will pop in there to beat up everybody. DC doesn't really have that. They have bars, but they don't have like a bar that everybody goes to.
We really love the idea of you know, like I said, exploring other genres. And just like, you know, nothing's off the table. We just got to discuss it. You know, we gotta, and a big thing that I've always really wanted to do with Prodigy is the idea of like, you don't have to know this like widespread history. You know, you can go in, you can read this book. You don't need to know anything else.
Exactly. Like, this journey is just starting, so now is the perfect time to hop aboard.
Like, you know, there's no barrier to entry, which is like, that's the thing that like gets me so mad about like modern comics is, you know, we're not like, I think a lot of the main companies aren't opening a door.
Right.
You know, they aren't opening a door to, you know, let non-comic book readers in. And I do think a big part of that is doing other genres. You know, people love other genres in literature, so wouldn't they like that in comics? Crazy idea, I know. Like we have Jaden has been working on this. Someone on our team has been working on this really great book called Spacefarer, which is like Dragon Ball with a little bit of like Invincible, and there's, you know, like a science fiction style like Academy kind of thing. Really super cool stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah. Would talking animals be in there at any point? Because I have a huge soft spot for like those old school like Carl Banks, like Donald Duck comics, and those kind of. Like,
you will like one of the stories in this first issue.
Yeah, you will like Troll Problems a lot.
And I will say I definitely want more and more of that as we go along.
Nice.
Yeah, like I will say one really cool thing about this issue is our war comic.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that real quick, Zane?
It's but I don't want to give away the premise because the premise is so good.
I'm to the point now where it's like I don't want to hear nothing else. I want to read.
That's the one that was illustrated by Stepan Morian, and it is
which is the coolest information that we could ever say.
His art is just absolutely exquisite,
godly.
Godly, yeah, god tier. It is god tier stuff. And
it
the
is
fact
like
that we were able to get a story
dropped.
illustrated by him is just insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, it's very, very good.
Y'all keep selling me on this more and more and more. I'm backing this book tonight. I promise you that. I promise you that.
Like I said, you guys already got my money, but I mean, all AJ had to do was tell me it's like it's live. Let's go. Like, all right,
I will mention one more, which has been kind of stalled a little bit, but there's one story by one very wonderful person on our team that is all about superhero therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The writer has currently been dealing with their own mental health struggles, so that's not quite ready yet. But it is definitely one of the stories that we are most excited about.
Yeah, like ever since they told me about it. The coolest thing ever. Just to illustrate, like. There's no pigeonhole here.
Yeah,
we're about doing anything and everything.
Variety is the spice of life.
Variety is king.
And see, actually, this is a good segue to this comment here because, of course, Kay's got to go. We were talking about all the variety you guys were offering here. It's something new and something different. And she says, "You know what? I'll pass. I'll just take all the other 2,000 Spider-Man." And of course, she's just kidding here. But
hey, maybe some of our
hopefully
characters
you watched Across the Spider-Verse then.
maybe some of our characters will actually get married.
No. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, that is another thing that we have talked about extensively is consequences.
Yeah,
we hate the fact that we live like that. The mainstream comics, you always go back to the status quo no matter what. Even if you have like some big shakeup, it automatically after a certain time, like give it a year max, and it'll revert back to what it has always been.
We want our characters to have a lifespan.
Exactly.
Is how I describe it, because as much as I love Sagittarius, I want to see that wear and tear.
The Spartan with Mikey.
Yeah, and
with
the Spartan,
our friend Mikey has this entire 5-volume saga
definition of variety,
and it is and I get to illustrate it, and we just finished finalized the design for the main villain
who was actually originally a Sagittarius villain.
Yes, he was, and then Mikey was like, "Can I borrow him?"
and he's so reverent about it too.
Exactly.
I'm like, Mikey, I trust you. It's okay.
Yeah, he asks AJ about every little thing, and AJ
which is great. That's been the best part about Prodigy is that communication, that collaboration. I don't kid when I say we just have a Discord. We just chat. Because
a Discord with probably 13,000 channels at this point, but it's fine.
hey, I made all of those channels.
I know you did.
But the community aspect has been the biggest, most wonderful surprise about this whole thing.
Wow. And that's great too. You guys have built your own community that way. You've got such a support group. You're such a team together here, and that's only going to serve you in the future. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
So of course, one thing I definitely got to talk about here, because of course, in our modern 2024 world here, producing comics digitally is a little easier than doing the print stuff. So how do you guys get around being independent to actually producing the print side of the comics?
So that was my responsibility, because like I've done, I've worked with different printers in the past for various things. Like when I was like just out of college, I wrote a book and I was like, I wanted like just a vanity, like single issue, single volume just for me. So, and I've been exploring them ever since. And so I did, we had a free preview that I ended up giving out at like my LCS out in Sandusky near Cedar Point. And I went through a couple of different printers before I found one that we really we felt that the quality was really good and that it was, cheaper to produce than like other things.
Affordable.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So but so what is the Print Ninja? That's the one that we ended up going with. Because they had like I was really, really surprised with how how their variety, what they offer is pretty much exactly the same as what the what the professionals print on. So it should feel like very, very professional when you get in your hand. It's not going to be like falling apart or anything like
flimsy.
I mean, the biggest part is like we want to be able to hold our comic.
Exactly.
Like,
we don't want to have to be
like I've talked to George many times about like the texture of a comic book. I'm very picky about how a comic book feels. And like it needs to feel right.
No, that's part of the deal with like having something physical. It's like it needs to feel good, like the tactile.
If you're gonna pay for a physical copy of something, it should be well made.
Exactly.
It should be good.
And what you were saying about liking the feel, like personally, when they have like the super high gloss pages, I can't do it. I just like it doesn't feel right in my fingers. I hate the squeak when it like rubs against the oil on your finger.
It's rough.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
But is it I'm sorry, is it stapled or square bound? Or
it's we didn't have enough, or we had too many pages for it to be stapled, so it'll be glued.
Okay.
Nice. That's awesome. So so
I always like those. I always like those formats better anyway. Like it's a little more like it could take a little more than just the stapled copy.
And when you open to the middle page, you don't have to worry about it falling out and then just then the whole thing falling to bits.
So you're gonna go with like a texture kind of similar to like what like Image is, where kind of like you got like a little bit
it's like semi gloss, like so it's got like that little bit of sheen, but it still has that
it's
very
a good
paper
middle
texture.
ground.
Exactly.
It's a good middle ground.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, here one thing you guys will appreciate here that we can announce. Literally, since we've been on the air, your total went up a little bit there.
Oh, a little bit. Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like to see the number go up.
Yes, we like to see the number.
It makes me feel happy.
I just refreshed and I'm like, oh, it's like someone has literally purchased something while we're on the air. That's amazing. So literally that is the address here at the bottom of the screen. You see folks here. That's how you can get basically be a part of the launch for Prodigy Comics. You can donate any way you want to and get whatever cover you want, whatever package you want, sort of things like that. But
or if you have friends that like indie comics, please share the link to.
If you have friends that even just like Marvel movies,
if you know
tell
people
them
that
about
can
it.
Read. If you know people that read,
If you know someone who reads words on paper, even if they just like the newspaper, there's something in there for them.
This sounds like one hell of a ride. I can't wait to check it out.
For everybody from fans of how do we put it? From devotees to the Cape Crusader to people who just read the Sunday comics. There's something for everybody in between.
Yeah, like it is.
Oh, that is so cool.
This is built to be a ride. This is built to. This is the flavor train You better get off at the station. Don't miss the ride.
And I mean, of course, I'm very biased on this one here, but I give this a full endorsement, folks. So definitely jump on board this one here. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Zane's talent as an artist, we've seen it here before, speaks for itself. He's extremely talented. You got nowhere to go but up from this day, man.
Thank you.
And
I've literally been hearing ever since I met Zane, whenever I showed it to anybody, they said this guy works for Image or like Marvel or DC Comics, and this is what I've been telling him for years and years, and he won't believe.
Every time I tell him, compliments make me kind of queasy, so I'm gonna bounce.
They're gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. When you guys first met and AJ started sharing some of his art with me because he was so excited about meeting you, and so it's like, look at this, like. Dude, look at this guy.
Like meeting AJ, he's literally one of my little brothers now. Like him and Mikey they're my two little brothers, and meeting him, and especially so as a gay artist and gay writer, having somebody who is cis het and who is actually like really on board with like me bringing in so many queer characters and so many POC characters and like all of that,
it was even better.
Exactly. And it was a pleasant surprise to meet someone who has as open of a mind and as visionary of a mind as this kid.
Hey, I don't know about those compliments.
Rubbing it in my face. I see how it is.
But that really kind of speaks to like the testament of comics, though, because it's like it's like how inclusive and like how like how the best ones really are. And it's like it's like we all learn from it, and it's like that's a lot to be said about the medium. That's how we we learn our morality tales and things.
And comics, as much as people like certain subsects of comic fans like to deny it, comics have always been at the forefront of like social progression and everything. Like literally, I mean, they were the first medium to talk about like drug addiction and all of these like really important topics. They were the first ones to tackle it, and they always have been, and they always will be.
Absolutely, and that's what always kind of boggles my mind when you get people that get on social media and they'll complain about quote unquote wokeness. Or this is that, or this is that.
Yeah.
Every time that word is uttered, I lose a minute of my life.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's like, what comics did you read?
Yeah.
I
don't think that they actually did.
Here's the thing. We get folks that are X-Men readers. Like, why are they doing this? Like. You
know what X-Men is about, right?
It's like X-Men is almost it's all about civil rights. It's
exactly.
I'd like to introduce you to
metaphor
reading
on
comprehension.
Yes.
I'd like to introduce you to reading
Professor
comprehension.
X is literally supposed to be MLK.
Thank you, AJ.
It's literally supposed to be Malcolm X.
When you read words on a page, you should interpret those words to find a meaning.
Internalize that.
Actually, before we went on the air, we were waiting for AJ to show up because AJ has such a busy life he can't bother to show up. Everybody else does here, but we were talking about like for one of your birthdays, was it like your 18th birthday or 16th birthday?
Was this Watchmen?
Yes, Watchmen, yes.
That was 16.
Okay. Yes, so I granted this upon you like one would grant Excalibur to a King Arthur sort of thing like that. Like, the choirs of angels were singing as you opened the package, sort of thing like that. Because I'm like, this is a book every comic lover needs to read, and you will read this multiple times, and it will change for you every single time.
Yes. There's a reason that Watchmen is considered the greatest graphic novel of all time, and that's because it is.
And the greatest part is it was a gateway to my favorite DC comic ever, which is Saga of the Swamp Thing.
Yes, he loves Swamp Thing.
I will talk about it all day. It is his best book. It is perfection.
Yep. But the thing I, of course, love is that the first time you read Watchmen was the first thing everybody does. You love Rorschach.
Yes.
No, absolutely. What?
Oh, see, no. When you're a young man and the first time you read Watchmen, Rorschach's Batman. Like, yeah, he's cool. I like him. He's tough. And then the older you get, the more experience you get, you realize that Rorschach is a racist, misogynist, crazy piece of garbage.
I read Watchmen for the first time because I got it from our local library when I was like 10 or 11, and that panel when when Manhattan just obliterates him, I was freaking cheering. I was like, thank God, this bitch is gone.
Oh, dang.
See,
it's like,
Zane
like
got the excitement. Zane got the excitement.
Zane understood. It's like, meanwhile, as a kid, I'm like, no compromise.
What did he do?
And it's like from the first time I read that when I was maybe like 13, 14, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. That's where the first time I read it, like literally after it had been compiled into a graphic novel. And so, I'm literally like, man, Rorschach's cool. I hate Ozymandias. And then now I'm like near 50. I'm like, Ozymandias was right. 100%.
Did any of you see the HBO show that they did?
Yes.
Wasn't it amazing?
I can't bring myself to watch it. I can't.
Dude,
it is mind-blowingly good.
Okay.
The layers of that show, it's like baklava, man.
Preach. So Seth is a huge Zack Snyder fan, a very big fan of the film. I want to like the movie, but there's something about me that says there's something missing. So I like a lot of aspects of the Snyder film, but for me, there's something missing. The animated adaptation of the film is.
I really like the animated one.
I have yet to watch it. That is one of my literally. It's one of the things on my to be watched like within the week.
Is it fully out now?
I think so. I think that the second. The part just dropped on Max, I think. Or at the very least, it's about to.
I think so, yeah.
One of the guys on our team, Cameron, actually bought me the first part of the Watchmen animated animated movies. So good. It's so good. Like the art style,
Also, if you know somebody who doesn't really like to read, but you still really want to get them into Watchmen, show them the motion comic that they have.
Yeah, it's really good.
I love the motion comic.
It's so well done. It is like chef's kiss. Yeah. It was just so beautiful.
And I will say this new animated version, that's a 2-part adaptation, is on par with the motion comic because J. Michael Straczynski does the screenplay. He doesn't change a thing.
Good.
This is almost a panel for panel recreation. But my favorite part is when they get to the Tales of the Black Freighter segment.
Yeah.
Yes. That made me so happy.
That is what is missing from the Snyder
because
film.
That is the book. That is the book.
Yes, that is the book.
I remember when I was telling George after I read it the first time, I was like, man, the ending with the way it coincides, like that is comics, you know.
There's an ultimate cut of Watchmen. There's a couple different cuts. There's a director's cut. There's an ultimate cut because they actually did an animated Tales of the Black Freighter DVD just by itself.
Yeah,
and then the ultimate cut incorporates the.
Gotcha. Okay, I haven't seen the ultimate cut, so
right.
Yeah, as a fan of the film, though, I would actually. I don't think that cut is the better cut. I still think it is the regular director's cut.
I see.
I take it that there was a theatrical cut. I've only seen
there's a theatrical cut, then there's the director's cut, and then there's the ultimate cut with the Black Freighter in it. Yeah, but it's like I think thematically what Snyder was trying to say is complete in the director's cut. I think with it ruins it in the ultimate cut. If that makes sense, because then it tries to make it makes it a bad movie at that point.
I was gonna say,
man. If only Mikey was on here.
You have a defender, bro.
Yeah, in the Snyder cut of things, the Tales of the Black Freighter stuff does kind of bog it down a little bit. Now, in the new animated version, the Tales of the Black Freighter stuff comes in exactly where it's supposed to within the book. But the best part is the animator for the Tales of the Black Freighter stuff is Francesco Francavilla.
Yes,
it's so good.
Oh, okay. I might just have to watch this tonight.
Image, I'm like, it's Franco. So
that is fantastic.
It's so perfect. Yeah. It's so perfect.
It absolutely is. But I can't remember how we got on this conversation. This is
no. Actually, I want to
listen in on one of the three-way calls between me, AJ, and Mikey. It's literally
it's utter chaos.
It is utter chaos.
I do want to ask though, since so have y'all seen the new Superman trailer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right. What did y'all think about it?
I mean, I'm excited. It didn't show like a whole lot.
I'm just here for crypto, okay?
Yes. the goodest boy
in the whole freaking galaxy.
Yes. I am cautiously excited.
Yes, because we've discussed this before that James Gunn has certain tendencies that he can't refrain himself from.
Yeah.
And so,
one
of the things that we've discussed is that it seems most of his characters fall into either two camps, badass or dumbass, and that with Superman, one of his core character traits is supposed to be empathy, kindness, all of that, which is a trait that Gunn tends to associate with dumbassery. So I'm a little nervous that he's gonna make him like a himbo, and I don't really appreciate that. We'll see.
I am cautiously excited. I will say it seems that he got out his James Gunn isms on Creature Commandos, which I will admit I did not really get into.
I still have to watch the finale,
despite I love the characters. Like the Creature Commandos in the comics are awesome. I just didn't vibe with it. I don't know.
If you knew, if you really internalized what it was going into it, and that this was going to be a James Gunn explosion, then you really enjoy it a lot more. And so that was the mindset that I had going into this. So it's all of James Gunn's worst qualities are going to be projected into this show. But because I internalized that, I was I was able to really, really enjoy it. Didn't love what ended up happening with Cersei, but I'm not going to do spoilers. But
apparently James loves him some Gol Bordello. So because they're over the first two episodes. But Seth and I have actually discussed the show because I really enjoyed the show, but one thing we wholeheartedly agree on is that David Harbour is probably one of the worst voice actors ever.
He is not the vibe.
No,
not at all.
In a show that includes Sean Gunn and Alan Tudyk, who are masters at voice acting, you got David Harbour.
It was rough.
I don't know why. I just don't know why he's there.
Well, because he's gonna play him in live action, and they're trying.
There's probably also the star power element.
Well, because the guy from Stranger Things.
The guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And also the failed Hellboy. Let's not forget that one too.
Which one? Because remember there was the one that they
I wanted that Hellboy.
That was really so abysmal. Good. They were like, we're just gonna drop it on.
I will defend the Crooked Man.
Hot take.
I will defend the Crooked Man. I love the Guillermo del Toro 2 films, but he got Seed of Destruction perfect. The Golden Army was something fairly new. The Crooked Man gets Hellboy better than Del Toro did.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yes. Well, the theme, the feel of it, the whole atmosphere feels much more like
Mike
a Hellboy
Mignola
comic. It feels much more Mignola than any other Hellboy thing we've seen.
Okay, very interesting.
I will defend the Crooked Man. Yes.
It is a good time to be a Hellboy fan, even though they won't, like advertise the projects.
Yeah, just
I was
it on
I was a
pay-per-view or
pretty big
whatever.
fan of Web of Word. Which was I thought was a really fun game, and I did like a pretty extensive video about it when it came out, because they decided to release it on the same week as Spider-Man 2 for some reason.
Yeah.
Pretty much the worst decision in game release history.
Yeah.
Because nobody, and I'm speaking generally, of course, but nobody nowadays is, looking for the kind of game that Hellboy is over, the kind of game that Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
The majority of game players, they get these, they get the AAA movie games, and no slight. I love Spider-Man 2,
No, I'm with you.
yeah.
I have it too. I know what you're talking about.
But I love when we get a game that's not the same type of game we get all of the time. Plus, it's just fun, the art style, the animation of these characters, the level design, I love it. I love it. And the music.
Yeah. I've been dealing with the whole level design thing a lot lately, so I'm not allowed to talk too much about it because I'm under an NDA, but I've been doing concept art for a video game, an indie video game. And there's and these levels, they are just so, every one is a completely new thing that you would not expect, and so having to try to take all of that chaos and try to turn it into something with a visual shorthand, that is, I do not envy people whose primary job is level design. Let me tell you, I do not envy it. It's one bit.
An impossible art. It
really is an impossible art.
Oh, well, guys, this has been amazing here. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you all here, and of course, spreading the word and learning about Prodigy Comics here. Seth, you got anything for them before we wrap up here?
No, I mean, I would just, I would love it if y'all wanted to come back sometime, just so we could talk more. Just
talk more
this has been a blast. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
But again,
folks, it's like I'm sorry. The comic sounds fantastic. I can't wait to check it out. I just backed it.
Awesome.
It's I'm hyped. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. 20 more days to go. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
We just went up another $10 there too, guys.
We've
got
20 days left.
20 days to go. So yeah, I'm rooting for you. Yeah.
But plenty of time, folks, to get to that goal and get them over the goal so they can keep producing more books here. That's the idea here. But yeah, so the address there is at the bottom of your screen. Also, I've got it posted in the comments there for both YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, folks, I can't implore you enough. Support these gentlemen here. Support this endeavor here, because we need to get more indie books out into the world, some more original stuff, original creators here. So yeah, I'm such a proud. I have nothing to do with this outside of my friendship with AJ and my familiarity with Zane's artwork here. But I am such a proud papa with this, guys. I'm so proud of y'all for getting this thing off the ground here and where you've come to this point. So yeah, this is just absolutely amazing. So thank you guys for being on the show here.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
This has been awesome.
Massive pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is. I've been wanting to get AJ on the show and have a specific reason to be on the show here, and literally, I've been waiting for this day to happen here. So this is so cool here. Yeah, I'm so proud of you guys. So we're gonna wrap up for this week here on the Fanatic Forum. So certainly want to thank AJ. Want to thank Zane for being on here. Love you guys for being on here, and definitely support Prodigy Comics here. Gotta get these guys the money and let them do more books here. So either way, next week, of course, is the fundraiser. We're going to be talking wrestling as well, and we will be at an hour, I guarantee, because we have to, because there's something else after our show. we can't go long that
we're on the clock.
I know, and that hour's going to go by so damn fast too. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
So that means if you guys ever want an hour and a half show ever again, you got to get them to bring us back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Seth and I go long just by ourselves. So you guys on here, we can maybe get our first 2-hour show here because we've had an hour and 45 minutes.
We can make it happen.
I do believe we could. I think that would be a blast.
Yeah. Challenge accepted. Here.
Whoa,
you disappeared there, George.
Where'd that go? What the heck?
You pan to the Greg Capullo poster.
Yes.
How did my camera turn around? I have no idea what's happening right now.
Oh man, well, your house is haunted.
How did I do that?
The lone last bat on Earth poster.
I know. How did I do this here? Good God.
Oh wow.
Solo layout? No, not solo layout. I have no idea how this happened here.
We can see your silhouette in the mirror.
Yeah,
in the window.
In the window. Ghosts.
This is really weird.
That's wild. Yeah.
I don't know what I just did.
Anybody watching, this is what will happen to you if you don't buy a copy of Prodigy Comics.
Apparently so, yeah.
The ghost will come for you.
Weird ass crazy shit will happen to you. How did I do this? Why is my camera doing this here? Okay, I don't know this. All right. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, I just look. I was like looking at all the settings. I just looked. I was like, oh wait, my camera wasn't turned towards my face. Thank God I'm pretty, right?
Wow. Oh man, we got this recorded. Oh dang.
Yeah. I haven't had a blonde moment in a long time.
Well, the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, man, what kind of camera does George have where the angle just shifts like that? It's like such a wide fish angle lens. Like, I know he works in TV.
It's the kind of camera where if I
where we like bouncing the light off.
If I get really excited and pull a certain cord, it will turn the opposite direction. We have wasted far too much time on my own here. But of course, real quick before we get off here, I want to share a couple other variant possible covers you've got for Prodigy there. I love this one here. Of all
that was the cover for the free preview that I was handing out.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you gotta share this one here. Your homage to Action Number.
Oh,
it's so beautiful.
I just did
so
that
beautiful.
The other
day. The only stipulation I had with this cover is it had to be a Cybertruck because I hate those things with a burning passion.
They are ugly ass PS1 graphic looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, oh god.
Dude,
and they need to
just
disappear.
the ugliest car ever.
Here's the weird thing, right? In Elizabethtown alone, 4 separate owners have
No, thank you.
One of them painted theirs black. I'm like, that actually looks good.
Because it looks like the Tumblr.
It does. It looks like the Tumblr, but that looks good. I've seen somebody did that, not around here, but I've seen somebody actually design theirs to have like the fake wood paneling, like the old Astro
like a beaver wagon.
Yeah, like the family truckster. So like that actually doesn't look bad either.
You see, the only way to make this car look good is if you alter it a lot.
Just do anything to it. Just don't. But 3 of the owners have gone with the basic silver. I'm like, that is the ugliest vehicle ever.
I think all of the if enough people buy this comic, that could become a variant cover in the future.
There you go. And this needs to happen. This really does,
it needs to happen.
Absolutely. All right. Well, gentlemen, I will release you out into the world, but thank you guys so much for being on the Fanatic Forum and sharing your book with us here. This has been a lot of fun. So, folks, get out there and support Prodigy Comics.
Yes. It sounds
thank you so much for having us again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys. So that is going to wrap us up for this week here. But of course, as we leave, we will leave you with a message from our sponsors, Comic Books for Kids, our charity partners here, a great resource here. So you all have yourselves a wonderful week, and we will see you next time here on the Fanatic Forum. Take care, guys.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals. And we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Truth. And overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.